he was trying to ride earlier. On this one, he really managed to open up and get a bit of speed going and convert that rail length into some drive. Put together the variety of turns on this one that he'd been missing before. Went for a long floater here to gain speed. Bounced down, recovered nicely, using the rail length again to pull himself up into a little tube, which I think really made the difference on this wave. This little tube section here really turned this wave from a potential 6 to a potential 8, and Mickey converted that potential with another beautiful big move down on the end here. Boom. Coming away with the win there. Mickey Picon, well-deserved stuff, man. Great work. He really held his head together.
You were talking about the similar styles, and it looks like Mickey has learned a bit of strategy from surfing against and watching Fred Petacci over the last 2 years on the CT. So Mickey taking a page out of Freddie P's book and using it against him at the end of that heat with an 8.67 to go with his 7.53 to take out Freddie P. That kind of resembled Fred's first wave as 7.5. Really getting lots of speed, doing those long extension floaters there, following up with a couple cracks off the lip at the end.
Yeah, you bet.
And now out in the water, it is our South African Bruise, Greg Emslie, currently sitting in 18th position, and David Weare, another surfer needing a big result here, currently sitting in 40th position. What is that? Freddie completely upset.
Oh, he'd be very upset. I can understand that.
As you would be, yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that that he lost the heat. I think that it's the 33rd place, man. It just eats you up, and especially when you've been having a pretty good year, as Freddie P has been having. He had a great event at the Billabong Pro Chopu, coming a very, very close second to Bobby Martinez, and I'm sure he was feeling like this year was going to be a bit of a bell ringer for him.
Eliana,
he knows that he's capable of big results, especially in these long left-hand barrel-y point breaks.
Well, and he's just come off an equal 5th in France.
And bam, to get a 33rd in the face like that, it's not a fun thing. And Fred wears his heart in his sleeve. I kind of dig that about him, actually. He's honest and open with his emotions
for sure.
And you can see he really felt that result. Unfortunate stuff for Freddie, but you can only say that on the day he was beaten by a guy who judged the conditions just that little bit better.
And who really needed a result. Mickey knew that he had to do something out here. And, yeah, Freddie must be feeling a bit like B. Durbridge. How'd you like to win an event and then get 2 equal 33rds in a row? That would be shattering.
Ouch. Beat, of course, having an incredible...
won the Boost Mobile.
Yeah, incredible
beating
event.
Just about everyone.
Man, and then he comes and gets a 33rd in France, and then he comes out yesterday, gets all snookered by Ace Buchan in their heat, and then comes on with his last ride, records as close to a 10 as he could possibly get from moves. He needed a 9.86 or something.
9.84, and he got a 9.8.
9.8. Ouch!
For 4/10 of a point.
Oh, my goodness. But right now, in the water, Billabong Pro, Mundaka 2006, we have our 2 South African boys, Greg Emslie and David Weare. Both really great blokes. No, Dave?
Well, I think the South Africans are some of the best blokes on tour. There's plenty of characters out there and plenty of guys that you always enjoy sitting down and having a beer with, but it's very true. Emslie and Weare, 2 of the nicest out there. And Emslie having a banner year on the WCT, currently sitting in the top 20 at 18th position. And in his rookie year, David Weare currently on equal 40th. So down in the same rankings as Jared Howes and Mickey Picon. So David Weare, another surfer looking for a big result here at the Billabong Pro in Mundaka for 2006. And once again, 25-minute heats this morning. We are just about 5 minutes into this one, just over 20 minutes remaining. And for the moment, no surfing action in the water.
Okay, well, a little quiet time now. We have time to have a look at some of your emails. Thanks a lot for sending us emails. In fact, you're informing us as well as entertaining us, I've got to say. And there's some great stuff here. There's somebody, Jerry. I hope that's not, might be Jerry Lopez. Who knows?
It's definitely not Jerry Garcia.
No, it's not Jerry Garcia. and he's saying to us, please explain how the surfer gains priority. Well, pretty simple. Priority is awarded to surfers by the head judge, Perry Hatchett. Perry's a very savvy bloke, very smart guy, and he sits up there and he awards priority based on the position of the surfers in the lineup. If at the beginning of a heat there isn't any priority, it's just like all in, okay? As soon as someone catches a wave, the priority thing kicks in, and what it basically is if you're sitting out the back first after an exchange of rides, then you'll get first priority given to you by the head judge, and priority then means that you're allowed to catch whatever wave you like without interference from your opponent. And so that's a pretty interesting situation, and it works a treat, especially at a place like Mundaka, where number one, wave choice is very important. Number two, the wave's kind of critical. You don't want to be forced into something that you don't want to ride, or that you might think twice about as you're taking off on it, just because you're getting hassled for it. You know, it's very, very important to be allowed your choice of wave so you can produce your best
paddle
performance.
into it. That's as right. You'd like.
Well, you can see there Freddie P, most upset, running right through the contest side. I reckon he'll probably be on a plane for Hawaii tonight.
You'd have to think so. Either that or maybe a quick jaunt up to France. I think he flew in through Biarritz or Bordeaux. So
there you go.
Maybe go take out some of his pain on the French beach breaks up in the Hosker Cap-Breton Seignos area.
Right.
And apparently Fred is going to go have a word with the judging panel. The surfers do have the right to speak with the head judge after close heats like that to get an explanation as far as how his scoring went. Of course, they can't just blow into the box and and start making a ruckus, but
they can try.
They can try. In the past, there's been many attempts from legendary surfers like Gary Elkerton, Sonny Garcia, and others.
You bet. But meanwhile, we're going to cross the GT, and he can talk the winner of the last heat, Mickey Pecan.
All right, well, Mickey Pecan, you got a little hug and a kiss from your mom. Congratulations, eh?
Yeah, it's good to have your family close to you, especially we're all year, very far from home. Happy to be close to be from my mom and my dad.
Now let's talk about you kind of broke the ice this morning. So tell us about the conditions out there. And it seemed like it kind of, even in the beginning of your heat, it was down the end, and then it really moved up quick.
Yeah, I was watching this morning early was flat, and I came back and I knew I want to surf outside and not the inside, because the inside is really fast. Tried to start pretty good. He had a couple good score. I had nothing. So I said, okay, my only chance is to go outside and get a barrel over there and maybe get the score.
Now the conditions with the wind kind of running up the face, it's really hard to kind of get turns off, eh?
Yeah, it's very hard. The wind is straight in the face, and the wave's kind of too small to get barrels, so it's pretty tough. Hard to make good turns.
And then on top of it, you have the sun pretty much going straight in. Can you even see out there when you're on a wave?
Yeah, that's true. It's one more thing. It's pretty hard, actually. So everyone in was through surfing before that, everyone told me, oh, it's hard to surf, very hard to surf. So it was very hard to surf.
Well, making it look easy out there, Mickey, congratulations. Or should I say, in the Basque Country, we say buen trabajo.
Yeah, I will.
Good stuff, Mickey. All right, boys. Back to Mick and Mailman. Congratulations to Mickey.
Oh, well, bam, straight away, first ride of that heat. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot to GT and for Mickey for joining us with that interview. Quick ride there for Greg Emslie. I doubt if it'll be a conclusive ride. Seen a bit of a lull in this heat so far.
We waited 9 minutes for the first wave to roll through in that heat, and Greg Emslie did pick it off, leaving priority to the other surfer in the lineup in yellow, David Weare. So David Weare now has his choice of whatever waves roll through the lineup, and Greg Emslie will just have to pick and choose amongst the waves that Mr. Weare lets go past. So right now he'll be sitting on the inside and waiting to see what kind of scraps Dave Weir's going to leave for him. Scores in on that first one, a 2.0, so still everything left to do in this one, Nick.
Oh, very much, yeah. These heats will turn around in an instant, though. All you need is one good set, and what will happen is the whole thing will take shape very, very quickly. Davey Weare paddling for that small inside wave. Looks like Greg's going to chase it. He's paddling, and he's up and riding. Greg Emslie from South Africa down the line. He needs to move here. He needs to move really quick, in fact, and nobody could move that quick. The wave gets away from him, leaves him stranded. He gets one quick move in, and the wave's finished. I don't think he'll be hoping to count that one in his scoring range.
No, definitely not. It's going to be a tough ask for the regular footers out here this morning in these low tide conditions, because the wave is probably one of the fastest on tour, actually.
Yeah.
And on your backhand, it is really hard to stay in rhythm with the section. So that's what we're seeing right now. Already we saw waves running away from our two goofy footers in the first heat.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how the regular footers handle it. Of course, we're just about to our low. How far? We're 40 minutes off of low tide.
Yeah, you can't half tell either. I think that's kind of what putting a little bit of a damper on the swell right now is
definitely
that classic moment as you draw toward low tide on an extreme tide swing like today.
The largest of the year.
Yeah, the swell just kind of goes dead. It just sits out in the bay there for a while and tends to bend away from the Mundaka sandbar, and only a very occasional set will come and hit in here. Doesn't mean there aren't any waves out there. It just means that the surfers are going to once again have to adapt themselves to the situation. Well, I think we're going to get a visitor in here, Dave Marlman. I think Parker's going to come in here and talk.
Very special guest, winner of the Quicksilver Pro France last week up in the French Land country.
Yeah, and let's see if we can put Parker on the spot with a couple of grueling questions, mate.
Current world number 4. Well, you're the journalist, so I'm going to leave the grueling questions to you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we're in vision. We're just trying to make some room for Parko.
Well, he's pretty skinny. He should be able to fit in between us. Yeah, he's a skinny bloke, Parko. He's not a big bulky man like Dave Mailman here.
Or Nick Carroll there. Probably the most fluid and stylish surfer on tour. He'll be with us in just a few seconds. They're just plugging in another mic for him. And see Dave Weare with priority out in the lineup. And there's our last heat winner out of France, Mickey Picon.
That's
moving
right.
Through to round 3.
Feeling pretty good about that, I'd suspect.
Feeling very good about that. Now, he has made it through to the third round 1, 2, 3, 4 times this year. And, of course, he's going to be looking to go a few rounds farther here in Mundaka to really help himself move up in the rankings. And the sun is out. It's actually kind of getting a little hot and sweaty in here, Nick.
Yeah, mid-October in Mundaka, and it's still really warm, beautiful weather here today, ladies and gentlemen, for the Billabong Pro Mundaka 2006. Looking forward to an exceptional afternoon surfing here on this sandbar, which has been manicured by the rain-driven water flow over the last few days and has turned itself into a beautiful V-shaped sandbar, the like of which you can only sit back and admire. And, well, here in the booth we've been joined by none other than Joel Parkinson. Parko, welcome to the commentary situation, mate.
Take it away. There you go.
See how it works, Prof. Yeah, thanks for having me. I told them I'd come in here eventually in one point, so I thought it was a good time to do it. It's real busy outside, so this isn't a quiet spot, but it's only 2 people hassling me, not 10.
Parker, we're seeing this lineup change every single freaking heat. Now,
The mic like
what would your attitude be on a morning like this where things are changing all the time? Are you the type of guy who just glues himself to watching the lineup and tries to stay with it, or do you just sort of walk away from it and just come back and look at it for the last half hour or so before you heat?
No, I'd on a day like today, I'd glue myself to it. You're going to have a tight heat. It's almost a guarantee. The last one with Fred, and that was, apart from Mickey getting the last wave, was pretty tight. So any little kind of change, you've got to be on it. And it can cost you heat when a guy paddles up the top or down the bottom, and the guy's been watching it all day. So I'd sit here and watch and almost hope for changes. And hopeful, a good change that the other guy would miss, and you'd be on it.
Yeah, right. Now, we saw that actually happen, and Mickey getting a tube on the outside, it kind of changed the rhythm of the heat. He went back down the inside, got a really good wave to finish, and Freddie P felt the heat just get ripped away from him, and you saw his reaction, Parko. Now, what does a top pro surfer think of someone when they have a reaction like that? Is it super understandable, or are you kind of like going, man, you didn't really need to do that?
In that situation, it's pretty. I can understand. I mean, I've felt the same emotion. It's a hard one, and the conditions are tough out there, and there are better waves up there where Mickey went, and he had to wait for the rip to slow down. Mickey played it pretty smart, and credit to Mickey for doing that. But at one point they were surfing so much further down the line, and the better waves were down there, and it changed. And I really like Fred, and he's a good mate of mine. And I hate to see him lose, but Mickey's a good mate too, and and Mickey really needs a result. So good luck to Mickey. I hope now that he's won one heat, he goes in and wins a few more and gets a real strong result.
Yeah, as long as he's not up against you, huh?
Yeah, well, that's right.
A lot of talk around this event on the world title race, mate, and I'm sure it's something that you're confronted with every day as you wake up in the morning and walk down the street and everyone's going, what's up, Paco? How are you, dude? And all that stuff. Like, do you have a set pat sort of selection of answers in your head to people who ask you, what's up with this world title race, man?
Yeah, I do, and I'll give it to you again.
I want to hear your set result.
I basically, I keep the same pretty. You got to keep a pretty straight, easy mind frame. You can't let it get too technical. And I spoke to Mick about it. Mick was like, mate, there's nothing personally, all we can do is win ourselves. We can't change the course of what Kelly will do or Taj or Andy. So as long as we said to each other, we just win. That's all we got to do. Hopefully, I'll meet Mick in the final here again, and hopefully the same result. That's all we got to do. We got to win every heat, and we can't lose. And but we can't change the other guys fast. We're stuck in our own ways, and we're going to have to just do our best.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So basically, it's the same thing that you face from the sort of cadet level all the way up to this level. Is you just basically got to win your heat.
Yeah, basically you got to win your heat. Don't worry about them guys. Don't worry about a title race.
I've been watching you and Mick around this contest. You both seem to be having a pretty good time. You're going for a lot of free surfs and looking pretty confident in yourselves after a week and a half ago up in Hossegor. But then, and I watched your mate Dean Morrison go out yesterday and just hammer Mundaka into submission. And I thought to myself, I wonder if Dingo's feeling like, damn, those two guys, they've been going really good. I want to sort of catch up to them.
Yeah, well, you say Dino might slip under the radar, but I free surf with Dino a lot, and that was a good little wave of Greg.
Yeah, wasn't it hard? Greg Emslie judging that wave really nicely, and
Greg's a really smart competitor, isn't he? He knows there's not going to be too many waves. Just get it scored and get the job done.
Yeah. Does that kind of guy worry you more than the kind of genius fluke type competitor, Parker? Like a guy who's really, really smart and he'll go out there and he won't lose his head and make the right decisions over and over again. Is that a kind of a more fearsome sort of person to surf against, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know who like people that scare me, like Kelly and Jake Patterson had a heat at Hossegor, and it was the first time Kelly had been put on the ropes, and Jake and Kelly, Kelly's a lot more talented surfer, but frame of mind wise and in their head, competitive wise, Jake, I would say Jake would be, I'd much rather almost paddle up against Kelly and just do it on surfing, but Jake will, he'll do it so professionally, and he's such a smart surfer. It's like a chess game. He can win it on anything, and so. Oh yeah. There's guys. They're the guys you don't want to get in funny conditions like today.
Yeah, because they'll just take every advantage of the situation and make it work for them. Whereas you might be just left stranded, going, "Damn, how come he got that wave? What happened?" Now, the change in conditions, Parko, from yesterday to today, it seemed to me like yesterday that the natural foot guys had a bit of an advantage. They seem to be the guys who were putting in the really big results yesterday. And yet today it's a little bit smaller. Is that going to help Goofy Foots today, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I mean, there's everyone says like yesterday was a natural foot advantage on the left, and it happens a lot of places. Yeah, like you'd be surprised how often J-Bay becomes a better way for your backhand than your forehand. As soon as the devil wind comes up or something like that, it's actually easier to surf backhand than forehand. So
yeah,
I reckon that personally, I'm lucky. I got a natural footer in my heat, and I got Jared House. So I'm not saying it's an easy heat, but I'm not saying I don't have a goofy footer.
Right, totally. Yeah. Now we had a couple of emails come in concerning yourself, mate. There's one from Jack and Max, and Jack and Max want to know if you have any pre-heat rituals. Well, perhaps we'll just watch this wave of Greg Emslie's. Now, Greg, using that same judgment again, Parko, he's just gone an inside wave, and he's going right down the line, producing the same kind of form as he did on that last wave. Just trying to extract something out of that, like literally knee-high wave there.
Yeah, he did his job. He's so smart because he already got a score under Davey before, and now he's got 200, which means Davey's going to need a massive score straight away. And if Davey gets a 9 right now, Greg's still in the lead, and he'll paddle out and sit on him. And Greg's a really smart competitor, and now Davey's going to have his work cut out.
Well, it looks like he's going to try and go for this one. It's got that little flutter down the line, though, man. He's going to really need to move on this way.
It's hard. It's 1 foot little left-handers. It's hard to serve. He made the most of that wave, but still hard.
Oh, man, totally. So, yeah, come on. Tell us about your pre-heat rituals here, Parker. What do you get up to in the last 10 minutes or so for a heat?
Pre-heat rituals. Well, I have a thing. I have a 7-minute mark. 7-minute mark, I have to be 100% ready. I have to have all my board ready, in my wetty, checked in. I usually walk out on the 7-minute mark. Don't know why that is. 7 minutes have always been lucky to me.
Yep.
I always will have my board under my arm, contest shirt on and ready to go at 7 minutes. No matter where I am, whether it's a show pill and I'm sitting in the channel, whether it's a 30-second paddle, or whether it's sunset. Sunset I might leave at 12 minutes or something, but I just know that wherever I am, at 7 minutes I have to be ready.
Yeah. And now at a spot like this, do you try to have a backup board ready and in a place where you can come and grab it if you need it really quick?
Yeah, definitely. We got a sand carrier, my Billabong European super caddy is here, and he takes care of myself and Andy and Ock and all the other Billabong guys, Taj and everyone. So he'll always be there with our spare board waiting at the harbour or down here off the rock.
Right. Beauty. Well, there you go, Jack and Max. Now you know what Parker gets up to before a heat. I would think every surfer in a heat, everybody's got the different ritual, but the ritual is important, isn't it, Parker? You've got to get yourself into the mindset of competition.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Very, very hard if, say, something like happened with Trent Munro in the first round of this event. He got up a bit late, realised it was on, ran down, he paddled out with 13 minutes to go. I mean, that'd have to kind of like have your head rolling around in your skull.
Yeah, 13 minutes to go at Mundaka. It depends what the other guys have got. If the other guys haven't really got any scores, then it's probably not a bad time to paddle. But if the other guys have got scores, it's probably not even worth paddling out.
No, totally.
Because you're just going to be in a frenzy.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, it's having
good emails coming through.
Epic emails. Always, I've got to say, folks, out there in Viewerland, we really enjoy you. I don't know. I guess participating in the contest in a very real way.
Craig Lowndes won Bathurst. Thank you. I didn't know that. I heard there was a good crash a couple of days ago. I don't know about what happened. I'll have to get on.
Yeah,
online and have a look at the papers.
Yeah, a couple of racing drivers in Australia getting very badly hurt in that crash, and
there was people getting hurt. I didn't know.
Yeah,
sorry about that. I just heard it was on TV.
Yeah, a couple of guys getting badly hurt, but Craig Lowndes winning the Bathurst 1000, a very famous car race in Australia.
Anyway, any other results coming through on the Bathurst would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, fire away, man. Fire away, boys. Now, not too long to go in this heat. There's actually only about 10 seconds or so, and it looks like Greg Emslie is going to hold his lead right through and finish the heat comfortably in front and move through at Davey Weare's expense. Kind of a slow heat, that one. We'll hope for better things to come this morning as this tide does, in fact, turn, and it will turn right in the middle of the next heat. So what else are you reading up there on in email world, Parker?
Oh, they're just funny ones, silly ones. How's my knee? My knee's good, thanks.
Parker, who's looking after the dog?
My dad's looking after the dog, thanks. Yeah, actually, who we got in the next heat? Emails are done.
Well, the next heat.
Pedro
right
and
now.
Cairns, two little goofy footers. This is where, hey, this is probably the toughest heat of the round.
It could well be, huh? Sean Cansdell from Mulloway, Australia, on the northeast coast of New South Wales, and his appearance on the World Tour this year, it's been anticipated for a couple of years, huh, Paco? He was voted, most likely to kind of like make it into the top 45 for a couple of years running, and that's as a result of, I don't know, both a lot of competitive savvy and one of the smoothest and most graceful surfing styles on tour right now.
By the way, it wasn't. You said the heat was almost over. This heat's still got about 3.5 minutes to go, and Davey only needs a 6:17.
You know what? They must have pushed it out a little bit, huh? Without our knowledge, they made the heat a half-hour heat, not a 25-minute heat.
It's always been half-an-hour heats this morning.
Man, they've been very tricky. Overhead judge, you're a tricky little bugger, aren't you, huh? Terry Hatchett, man. He's sharp as a tack, that guy.
Yeah, I told you, like 6:17. Greg's only got two high scores of 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
So
It can be
not
one,
massive scores, but 6:17's a hard score to get. So I don't know. It's still anyone's. You never know in Mundaka.
Yeah, indeed. Not long to go.
But Pedro and Cairns is a good heat. Pedro was on fire last event. He took Taj out, and his confidence was huge, I reckon. Just over one heat of, knocking off one of the best servers in the world, and now he's probably got another one of the best servers in the world, Cairns, but, his confidence is there.
Oh, absolutely. And both really light-footed surfers, those two, and they'll, I think, have little trouble adapting to these conditions, no matter what happens. I mean, the swell might surge during the heat, but whether it does or not, they're going to be making the most of the conditions.
I like this one. There's an email come through from Matt. Snips is getting a bit snippy, isn't he?
He
gets a bit trigger happy, Snips.
Yeah, Snips is snippy, man. He's snippy all the time. It's unbelievable, Well, you can see there on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, the view up to the town of Mundaka from when you're in the lineup. And going surfing out here is the best thing ever, man. You go surfing out here at Mundaka and you can see that town in the background, and you can see the hills rising on the other side of the bay, and the water streaming past you from the river mouth. It's one of the most scenically beautiful places to go surfing in the whole world.
Yeah, it definitely is. I like the to everyone out there watching, we last few days when there hasn't been many waves apart from yesterday, me and Nick had been surfing a wave down in the river about another 500 metres from the takeoff zone. It's almost like you're surfing inland, it's completely surrounded by land, and it's this little kind of crappy ride, but it's worth a surf, and just when you're sitting down there, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like a novelty to surf, huh, Parker? It's like surfing just in the middle of a harbour or something. It's really a trip.
Yeah, and it's and there's only been a couple of guys on it, so Nick's on it every time, and I've kind of been surfing it because it's kind of the only thing to surf, and there's only been a handful of guys that have been surfing it.
That's true, I think, because nobody really realises it's kind of there, They just look down there and go, nah, that's not a wave. Surely it's not a wave. Well, paddling now, is he up and riding? Yeah, Davey Weare looks like he's finally got an okay little wave, Parker.
Yeah, look, he's going to get going. It's not a bad... Yeah, it's a good little wave. But there's a wave behind it that Greg's on. That is probably a better looking wave. Yeah,
wow.
Oh, Greg fell, but Davey got a good little wave. This will be a good little little hard one for the judges.
That's a hard one for the judges because the surfers can't throw a lot of variety into the wave when it's like this, and so it's difficult for judges to separate ride from ride, and we're going to see them test it out on